Hello, and welcome to episode 174 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. Hi, how are you? We're going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. I'm so glad you're here. It's going to be a great day. Let's get into it. What's going on? Let me just switch to my screen. Whoops. Right, so it's April 17th, 2019. I've been doing this now. If we look back, my very first agenda was on January 28th of 2015. Almost 4 years. No, over 4 years. 2015, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, January 28th. Yeah, just a little over 4 years. That's something else. And who knows? I'm not sure how long it was before I started making these agendas. It may have been a couple of months. So, well, today I learned. How are you? It's April 17th, episode 174. I just wanted to let you know, no plan survives breakfast. I kind of know what I want to do today. I kind of know the sorts of things I want to hack on. But if life is any indication, things don't go according to plan. And none of the solutions or any of the things I'm going to be doing are pre-written. So if things go wrong, that's okay. That's kind of part of the plan, so to speak. I might get sidetracked, rat-holed. I might just fix bugs like crazy. That's happened a couple times. Or I might get stuck. And any of those conditions are okay. Or any unknown condition outside of those conditions is fine. Just so you're aware, there is not really scripting here. There's a vague plan, but that's about it. The other thing I want to let you know about is that the agenda that we're looking at is something you have access to. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description down below. If you're watching this on, let's see, Air Mozilla, it'll be in the meeting notes or the handouts over in that direction. And if you're watching this on Twitch, then I'm about to drop the link to the agenda in the Twitch chat. Here it comes. There you go. And there's also a link inside the agenda to rate the episode. After the episode's done, let me know what you thought. I read every single rating that comes in. I want to hear what you have to say. What can I do to make the stream better for you? Smurfy goes, wow, happy 4th to the Joy of Coding. A little belated. That would have been maybe in December or January, early January of 2019, but that's okay. Yeah, better late than never. Happy 4th, everybody. If you've been with me since the very beginning, I don't know if there are many out there who've been with me since the very beginning, but if you're out there, happy 4th. Let's see here. I want to shout out the episode guide. Speaking of Smurf D, there's an episode guide to the Joy of Coding. If you go and click on that link in the agenda, we've got episode guides going all the way back to the very first episode, episode 1, where what was I working on? Printing on Linux, E10S, event loops and nested event loops, spinning an event loop. That sounds like a good idea. And attaching a debugger. Who knows? Who knows what I was doing? And then more printing. What did I do in episode 3? Printing. And since then, we've done lots and lots of different things. So if this agenda or this episode guide's interesting, you should check it out. Lots of little sort of details on what I covered and links to bugs, links to the agendas. Let's take a look at an old agenda, actually. Let's look at the very first episode notes on Evernote. Let's see if they still work. Oh, so this is just like the bug notes. Okay. And do I have an agenda, an old agenda? Not really. Where was the first time I introduced an agenda? Well, here's one, March 11th. I put in more images back then, and then a bunch of interesting stuff. My review queue, I guess I was reviewing stuff. Anyways, if the episode guide is something you're interested in, you should check it out and dig through it. Lots of historical information there. And if it's something that you want to contribute to, because the episode guide is completely viewer driven. If you have your own notes, if you have been going through the series and you found that there are corrections you'd like to make, or addenda, or expansions on anything, or who knows, send me a pull request. This episode guide's hosted on GitHub. It's a simple set of markdown documents. And if you're not sure what I mean by any of that, go back to the agenda, because over here there's a contributing guide and instructions on how you can contribute back to the episode guide if you so choose to. So there's that. So what do I want to do today? Well, today is a momentous day. I've been working on this thing for a little while called Picture-in-Picture. You might be familiar with it. I've been working with it for a month or so now, and I think last couple of weeks we have been sort of featuring it here on The Joy of Coding. But let me show you where it is right now. If you are in Nightly and you go to, well, hold on, we have to enable a pref. If you go into Nightly and enable these prefs, what is it? Picture-in-Picture enabled and Picture-in-Picture video toggle enabled. If you set those to true, then if you were to go to YouTube and, I don't know, choose any kind of video, I'm just going to silence these videos while we play them. But you'll see this little notch show up on the right side of the videos, where if I were to click that, I get this little picture-in-picture window where the playback of the video can be controlled from. And on Windows at least, the picture-in-picture window is set to be always on top, so you can keep watching the video even if you've got something else brought to the front. So that's what I've been working on for a little while. And there is a bug here to enable it by default on Windows. And I have a patch that does that, and it's been accepted, but there's a problem. And the problem is that there are some test failures whenever we enable it by default. And I know what those test failures are. I should have thought of this. I forgot that these things would be a problem. But basically, one of the things that we have inside of the context menu for videos is we have this picture-in-picture context menu, and it only appears if the picture-in-picture prefs are set. And we have tests that test what is showing up inside these context menus, and it's not prepared to deal with the two cases where it's enabled, picture-in-picture is enabled or disabled. So that's what we need to fix right now. So that's what I'm going to do first. So the first thing I'm going to do is check out the state of my tree. I think I have, what do I have? I have this other version of the toggle that you might want to see, actually, kind of semi-related. There's this version of the toggle which shows the string whenever you hover it, where you can then like know that it does picture-in-picture. Still trying to figure out whether or not that's the right model for alerting users about what this thing does, but that's the idea. So I'm gonna take that off, or I'm gonna update to one level above, and let's pull down these patches that enable picture-in-picture by default. Now, part of the problem is that let's see here. I'm doing this development actually on Mac OS, and the patch causes the picture-in-picture stuff to only be enabled on Windows. So I'm going to change things a little bit here in the patch so that I can do the development here on Mac OS for the benefit of you all. So first of all, let me pull down the patch. Let's just see what happens. Let me pump up the font so you can see what I'm doing. So right now it's applying the two patches that were up for review. So now that if, I think those should be in the working directory now. Yeah, okay, so if we go to all.js, which is where the prefs are, we can see that there is this condition where if we're on Windows, then we do these things. Now I'm going to get rid of that part of the condition for now, just so that we can, or actually, you know what'll be easier is if I just set this to true here and this to true over here for now. And then I'm going to build faster, and then we're going to see the failing tests. And the failing tests are these browser context menu ones that I was telling you about. Browser-based content test, general browser context menu dot, or how many context menus? Context menu child process, context menu input, and context menu.js. So let's run this one. and we're going to see it fail, or we should see it fail. So we're opening a bunch of context menus, and then we see here that we got some failures. All right, let us talk a little bit about these failures. So we'll look at them. Let's look at the first one. When there's a big batch of failures like this, I like to start right from the top. Look at the first failure. So on line, so the subtest is something called test video OK. And so let's load that file up, context menu.js. Test video OK. And in this one, we enable picture-in-picture by default, and then we test this. And you know what we should do is we should have a, make sure that it's false, and then pop pref env. So we test the two states, with it enabled and with it disabled. What happens? So fewer failures, I think. Test video bad, 277. We're basically gonna, I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna need different variations. We're gonna need variations whenever there is when picture-in-picture is enabled and when it's disabled. So audio in video. So what is it supposed to be? Test context menu. So it should be play, mute, playback. Picture-in-picture should be after full screen and before a separator. So let's do that. Now there is no full screen here because it's just audio. So maybe this is not one we need to modify, actually. Test audio and video. Test video bad, that's the one we need to modify. Whoops. So let's do this. And we'll copy this over. And so we're going to add now a condition where we're going to put the picture-in-picture context menu item under here. And then let's do the same thing over here. Screen, it will appear. Now that might actually be a bug, the fact that we show the picture-in-picture element or menu item here, but let's deal with one thing at a time. Now what do we have failing? Test video in iframe. That looks to be the last one. Test video in iframe. So I'm going to put this here, that down there, family. Okay, after full screen, we're going to put in our picture-in-picture item. Now let's see what happens. Hooray, all passes. Now, the test video bad thing, we show the picture-in-picture here, but we don't show full screen, and I wonder if that's a bug. That's context menu, picture. On video. I'm just assuming, by the way, that that's what this Boolean value represents. Like if I set that to false, what happens? Does it fail? I expect it to. Yeah. Got true, expected false. So we need to find how, well, I don't think it's necessary right now, but we should file a new bug for the broken video case. Now let's see how the broken video case looks IRL. You know, let's take a look at what the video bad is. Test video bad, source bogus. Look at how this works. Okay, let's. So here's a broken video, and yes, we do get picture-in-picture. It's enabled, but it's broken. Like we should not support that. Okay, so let's file a new bug. Video toolkit. Video. Picture-in-picture should be disabled. Should context menu and toggle should be disabled for broken videos. Okay, so steps to reproduce. Visit the test case document in this bug. Right click on the video. Expected result. There should be hover the video with the mouse. Right click on the video. There should be no picture-in-picture toggle displayed when hovering the broken video, and we should not see and the picture-in-picture option picture context menu item should be disabled. Actual results. The toggle appears and the picture-in-picture context menu item is enabled. Attempting to enter picture-in-picture doesn't result in anything occurring. So let's set that to milestone 3. And then here we can start tracking these as bugs. Video bad 2. Video bad. Okay. So let's run these tests again. Great. Now I'm going to take a look at the patch. I added some white space. We'll see if my reviewer likes that. Okay, and then I need to undo this change here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new revision, update browser context menu, patch to account for picture in picture being enabled. To account for picture in picture. Add picture in picture state tests to, or not state tests, enable picture in picture enabled. Tests to, no, make browser context menu test with and without picture in picture enabled, without picture in picture enabled by default. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reorganize these a little bit. I'm going to push this to try. And ask for some try artifacts. Ocris is like, is picture-in-picture strictly only a WebRTC feature? Can't it be made independent? It has nothing to do with WebRTC. You can, there's no relationship to WebRTC. The fact that I'm making reference to Moz WebRTC here is because I made a mistake when I put the prefs inside all.js. I made it part of this like WebRTC ifdef block, and I'm moving that outside of the ifdef block. Right, as you say, that's what's going on. I'm moving it outside of the WebRTC ifdef block in this patch here, because it was a mistake on my part. Let's see. Let us now push this to try. How do I want to do that? I'm going to do, Ocris is like, today? Maybe, we'll see. I have to wait for a review though. Mock try chooser artifact. I'm going to do some artifact build. And we're going to get ourselves a, we're going to try on Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. We're going to do all the browser Chrome tests. After that's done, I want to look at what we were looking at last week, which was toggle tests for picture-in-picture, and we needed to write a bunch of different tests. Okay, hold on a second. I have to choose my builds carefully here. I want link 64. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of these. I'll do it by tests. Moki test browser Chrome. That's what I want. And I only want I don't want to do the shippable builds, but I'll do the debug ones. I'll do the address sanitizer ones. I won't do the code coverage ones. Don't do the shippable ones. Multi-test. We'll do the opts. Won't do the shippables. They take too long to build. Debug multi-test. Mac OS. Windows address sanitizer. I don't think we need to do those. Or CCov. Did I do ASAN up here? I did. Might as well do ASAN here then. Don't need CCov. Don't need shippable builds. Don't want to test the 64-bit builds. Or the ARM64 builds. Okay. This looks like a good set. Push. Okay, so that's all pushed. Now let us figure out the our tests. Now, we had talked a little bit last week about testing. I wrote a whole series of tests. I got them reviewed, but the problem is that the tests don't pass all the time in automation. They fail intermittently. And I don't understand why yet, and I'm hoping that we can figure some of that out today. That would really, really help. I'd feel a lot better if I could get these tests into automation. I mean, every time I write a patch, I'm running them myself locally, and that's great. But we should definitely get them working in automation. So let me show you what it looks like whenever I push it to automation. What's this? This is another thing I've been working on. So far, so good, I guess. Ocris is saying, so did you test with disable WebRTC when making that patch? No, I just moved it outside of the ifdef. I didn't want to do a full-blown build, so I did not run it with disable WebRTC. Okay, so here are our failing tests in automation. Let's see if I can bring up the font here. So there are a number of tests that we've written. Maybe I should sign into, I think, the my Linux box, because this is where I have the patches, the latest state of the patches. And here's what I have failing. We have these like test verify jobs that run the tests, and they're failing. I want to see if I can get that to happen for ourselves. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to do an opt build. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Or maybe I could even do an artifact build. How do I list my moz configs. Where is the list of moz configs that I have? Okay, well, at least there's my Fennec artifact build, artifact dash build. Build with artifact dash build. Now I'm going to take a quick peek inside my moz config here. One sec. Artifact build. Yep. Okay. The reason I moved that off screen is I don't think I have any like off keys in my moz configs ever, but I just wanted to make sure. You should unmute them. You should mute the mic, says Okris, when entering the password. There are some proof of concepts that show it's possible to recover the password from typing. Really? Huh. That's disturbing. All right. Maybe I will mute the mic next time. Although it's already recorded and streamed out into the wild. It's also not the first time I've typed in a password on this stream. And yeah. Hopefully no one recovers my password. Luckily we rotate them pretty often. Okay. So let's get this artifact build and then let's see if we can do this, like, get this test verified to fail for us locally. This artifact build should not take long. It should be done in the next minute or so. Yay. Okay, so let's run our tests. Moki test, toolkit components, picture-in-picture tests. I'm going to run it with verify, and I'm going to do it on display 0. Go, go, go. We're going to see if we can get ourselves a failure here, a nice solid failure. Yeah, Smurf D's like, the letters TV, BC, BC2 on the try builds have a meaning. Cool. Yeah, they're really kind of impenetrable if you're looking at them for the first time, but they stand for things like seeing like error messages here about illegal values, but so far no failures. TV stands for test verify, BC is browser Chrome, and then like when they have numbers, it's like what's happened is we've taken a set of tests like the browser Chrome tests and we've like divided them up so that we can run them in parallel. So BC1, BC2, BC3, these are the browser Chrome tests running in parallel. The M tests or MC, like there's a Moki test and Moki test Chrome. And then the B's usually stand for build. BA is an artifact build. It's very impenetrable though. Like I understand where someone could look at, perf herder or tree herder and be like, what am I looking at? What are all these symbols? ES is ES linting. Spell checker. What is this? Test manifest? Moz lint the manifests? Yeah. Who knows? Okay. So the first instance of like so the way test verify works is by running one or more tests in a kind of a special configuration which is called chaos mode. In chaos mode instruments like low-level parts of Firefox so that things that are normally non-deterministic, like if you have a hash map, the internal sort of organization of a hash map, thread order, thread execution order, all these things are like randomized in chaos mode to help sort of what's the term I'm looking for? To help root out bugs due to non-determinism, or test failures due to non-determinism. So because the TV test failed, what they're saying is that there are problems in some of these tests that are due to non-determinism. So maybe I should start there. This is the test video that we use. It's just a bunch of my coworkers and I. So on Mac OS, we get the same sort of failure as we do on Windows, where it's like there's this uncaught exception waiting for the toggle child to be tracking the video. Let's take a look at the raw log. Toggle opaque overlay. So we're running it a couple of times, and then on this time we fail it. So we fail after a little while. Toggle opaque overlay, waiting to be tracking the video. Right, and how does that work? Well, in our tests, there's a bunch of laziness in the code there by default. We monitor for when, oh man, where is it? Yeah, it's here. How do I get syntax? No? How do I get this to be recognized as JavaScript? Vim set syntax JavaScript. Set syntax equals HTML. Oh no. Syntax JavaScript. Should it be like set syntax JavaScript? There it is. Okay. Set ft equals? What would that have done, Pep? I'm curious. What does set ft do? Gee, weak intersecting videos for testing. Intersection. Worth tracking. Huh, so we passed test to verify here, which is kind of annoying. Let's try it again, just with this one test. The And meanwhile, we might have to instrument this test and push to try to get a good sense of what's going wrong here, because why are we waiting? That's my question. Why are we waiting for the toggle opaque overlay? Why are we waiting to be like tracking it? We should, as soon as it intersects the viewable area, we should be adding it here. So what I can do is I can add some gunk, some logging gunk, and push to try again. See if I can get some answers. Saw an intersection. Checking intersection entries. Previously, there were old visible videos count. Visible videos worth tracking. Looking at video with ID, video.id. Video is worth tracking. Dump. We already have this video in weak visible videos. Adding video to weak visible videos. Adding video to gweak intersecting videos for testing. Dump. We were, video was previously intersecting and isn't anymore. Removing the video from gweak intersecting videos for testing. And then let's put in another condition, else. Well, no, they can only, oh yeah. Wasn't worth tracking, video wasn't worth tracking. And we'd never seen it before. That's the other case. We're testing beginning mouse over tracking. We're testing stopping mouse over tracking. Okay. See, that passed. Let's see if this test runs now. All right. Start. Waiting for videos to be right. Saw an intersection proves there's zeros. Looking for a video with ID no controls. Videos worth tracking. Okay. Add some debug logging. And now we're going to push this up to try. What's one that fails reliably? Windows 7 Opt TV. Windows 1064 Opt TV. How about that? Mock try fuzzy artifact. Ocris is linking me to a video where we like, it's like a acoustic keyboard eavesdropping. Oh. Wow. Wow. That's something else. Huh. Yep. All right. Let's see here. I want. What do I want? I want verify on Windows. What was it? 7 Opt. Windows 7 Opt. Verify Opt. Windows 7. Yeah, this one. So what are we going to do now? Now that that's pushing and baking, it's going to take a little while to give us some data. What can we do in the meantime? Well, there's lots of other stuff to do. We could look at some picture-in-picture bugs. There are a bunch in here. And they don't really have any more, like, I've done just sort of vague prioritization. This is actually fixed. This was fixed by bug such and such. So I'll close that out. And what else? And we could work on this actually. I've got this other patch that fixes that. I don't know if you all remember, but I was working on that Draggable Regions patch. And I've got a fix for the last failure. G-app updater. Let me just quickly understand. I want to understand what that is. But G-app updater is undefined. Right. periodic intermittent. Filed a day ago. Okay, great. So I've got a fix for this stuff. I'm waiting for a review from ZB on this last chunk that I need, but I can begin the work to get like the hang on. Oh, I guess I better mute my mic. 1 second. How do I mute again? Audio input capture. All right. I'm also gonna close Thunderbird. Don't want you seeing my email. So I have a build here on Windows where we've got you know, the draggable regions thing working, and what I want to do is make it so that the controls disappear or appear whenever the when the mouse is hovering them. So what I'm going to do is take a look at the spec. What does the spec say? Controls. I think I'll be able to actually follow this. Yeah, here we go. What does the spec say? Show the controls, and then the controls disappear. So I want to like make the controls disappear, but only after. How am I going to make that work? I want to show the controls for a little bit, delay 3 seconds, and then the controls disappear, and then they appear and disappear. When the pip appears, show the controls. User hovers, the controls appear with opacity of 80. When the user hovers a specific control. So maybe we'll do a subset for now just to get it started. Opacity of 80. And then opacity of 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say controls opacity 0. No, hold on. Control item opacity 0. Transition opacity 160 milliseconds. And then I'm going to say control item hover opacity 1, and then controls control item opacity 0.8. Let's see what that looks like. Like we needed all of that other gunk, that draggable region stuff, just so that I could get these controls to appear and disappear correctly. And it's just been like weeks of effort. Here, I think I have to make sure that picture-in-picture is enabled. It's not, so I'm gonna toggle it. Let's go find some videos. Here's a video page. All right. So they appear and they disappear. That's nice. Now it's supposed to be 80% opacity and then 100% opacity. It's kind of hard for me to tell if that's what we're getting here. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to open up browser toolbox. And then fiddle with the styles a little. opacity, let's make it 0.3 instead. Now, I wonder if this is not specific enough. Now, I need to do controls, hover. Whoop. Controls, hover, control, item, hover. There we go. That's what we're talking about. So we make that 0.8. All right. That's interesting. It's not clearing the opacity when I leave the window. So there's maybe a little bug there where we don't like detect exits correctly. It was working before, so let's close it. Let's reapply those styles. And then rebuild. Go back to where we were. Library, history, video. So now it works. So we were in like a funny state where like entering and exiting didn't work. Maybe whenever I started messing a little bit with the CSS. I don't know. It works now. How about if I resize the window? Resizing's funny on over a remote desktop like that. It appears to work now. Okay. So I have a patch here that does this now. That's nice. So let me just commit that locally. I won't I'll put up the patch, but I won't request review until we've got the other part of it, which is we need to wait for 3 seconds after the tab first appears, or the picture-in-picture window first appears. And I think I might just need to put like a set timeout inside the window. Actually, maybe I could just do that right now. Player.js. Document. Where is it? Controls. Document.getElement by ID controls. Set attribute showing true. Set timeout attribute. All right, so let's put that let's see what that's like. So is that to spec? Let me just reread the spec again. Show the controls. In 3 seconds, controls disappear. So I think it actually is supposed to be at 100% opacity. Sounds like. So controls. Right. I think that should override the specificity. All right, let's take a look. History. Bring this thing up. The controls show 1, 2. Oh, well, I think I ruined it. 1, 2, 3. They go away. All right. Now, what happens if I'm still floating over the window? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that'll make sense. I think that works. All right, so let's put that up as like a patch that actually the one last thing I'm going to do is const controls fade timeout equals 3000. Time to fade the picture-in-picture video controls after first opening. Whoops. Save. Copy. All right, and then we'll commit that as bug such and such. This bug. Fade out picture-in-picture player controls after being open for 3 seconds and reveal on hover. Now what is the right, what's the name of the reviewer? His name is Dave Justice. Jason Voorhees, that's the IRC nick, or the reviewer nick. Let's take a look at our try push as well, the one from earlier today. Enabling picture-in-picture by default. So far, everything's just running. That's all good. Maybe by the end of the episode, I'll be able to put it up for review. And then maybe by the end of today, I can land those patches if it gets reviewed to enable picture-in-picture by default. That'd be very, very nice. In the meantime, I guess we can put this up for review. What else? I hope most of the remaining picture-in-picture bugs are that easy. Well, there was the one that, yeah, is being brought up about the transparent iframe. And why doesn't the hit test work for a transparent iframe? We could look at that. I don't know how far we're going to get in 23 minutes. And this is going to be pretty hairy code. How does it work? Only visible. Frame for point. This is the value I pass down to say, like, show me the list of things that are visible for the hit test, only visible, and for some reason, frames per area. That might receive, find all descendant frames under the area of a rectangle that receives a mouse event. Transparent iframe. Transparent iframe, click through. Pointer events, none. You know what I really need to do is talk to someone from the content team. Let me chat with Emilio, see if Emilio is still around. Hey, is the nodes for rect stuff supposed, would you hang on a second, let me pull this up, or let me start the conversation and then see if he wants to be in the, have that conversation live. Would you expect the nodes for rect stuff added to work with transparent iframes? Specifically, we have a transparent iframe over top of a button, and the point of interest is the center of the button. Would you expect nodes from rect, nodes for rect, to return the button if I were to query to return the button in the list of nodes if I were to query that center point? Okay, so I've asked the question. In the meantime, this looks unrelated. So I'm happy to see all of these passed. That's a good sign. Once these are all in, I will request review for this last patch. I'll push that up and maybe I'll end the episode there. Oh, this looks good. I'm excited for that hover thing to land. I've been waiting a long time for it. The region thing. What are these? Known intermittence. Thank goodness. Did that submission go through? Yes, it did. Okay. And Yeah, it's waiting on these other two. That's nice. That's good. We got a nice patch stack there. Okay, what else can we look at? I'm waiting for an answer on that nodes for rec thing from Emilio because it's an unfamiliar piece of code. So while we're waiting for that, let's see if we can figure out this context menu thing. How come these items are disabled on the broken video? Let's find out. In NS context menu is where I would imagine that logic is disabled. Aha! Here we go. Disable them when there isn't valid media source loaded. So I should do this. Context media, full screen, picture in picture. If on video, checked. I should set item attribute, context video, picture in picture, disabled. Has error. Then, if we go back to our tests here, the browser context menu one, I can set these to false. Or maybe I should just fold that in as part of patch. Let's find out. Let's first of all get them to pass, or make sure that they're passing. Akris is like, both checked and disabled? Yeah, it's an unlikely situation, but I suppose you could enter picture in picture. Whoa, these are commented out. You could enter picture in picture and then the video reaches like an error state. And then we would, I guess, show an error. And maybe what we want to do in that case is actually disabled is like not and has error. Maybe that's what we should do. So that if you're already on a picture-in-picture video, then you have the ability to disable it, to uncheck it. I think that makes more sense, actually. All right, let's run that test. Browser-based content test general browser context menu.js. Failure. Got false, expected true. Online test video bad, line 342. Oh, I think I just failed to update part of the test. Browser context menu, where is it? 342. Yeah. All right, that looks good. So I'm actually going to fold that in to this patch. Unshelve, and then I'm going to actually change the bug number to be the bug that we filed before. Whoopsie daisy. I think we're missing a 1 there. There we go. Make browser password and work with also fixes disable picture in picture context menu item when on a broken video. Also fixes also updates. Actually, now that I think about it, I should probably split these up. Quit without writing. Quit without writing. No. I think it's actually gonna put the changes in, didn't it? That's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split the work up into 2 patches. Uncommit. Actually, I need to uncommit the other stuff. I'm going to split it up so that yeah, I liked this this commit message from before. That'll go on top. And then rebase these 2. Live hacking. I'm getting some really great like Vim tricks from Pep. :CQ is quit without writing and exit 1. That's great for that use case. You're absolutely right. I didn't know that one. :CQ. That's like hard abort. Like something's gone wrong. Don't do it. Don't do it, Mercurial. Thank you for that tip. :CQ. I like it a lot. I appreciate it. All right. And now I've got the same commit message here and here. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I want to update. Man. Hist edit. Well, and what was the commit message from before? It was like I had a really decent one. It's like I guess it didn't. Oh well. I'm gonna update the message. Smurf D's like, Mercurial show off. I'm not sure who you're talking to, but I like it. What was the bug I filed? It was this one. Picture in picture context menu item should be disabled on broken videos. For videos that break after entering picture in picture, we keep the toggle enabled so that the user can exit picture in picture. After already being in picture in picture. All right. Then let's post this stuff up for review, and then I think I'm going to call it a day. Although it would be really nice if we had gotten some test feedback from that mystery, the logging stuff. It'd be great to like get this back. How long is this going to take? 8 minutes it's been running, and how long does it normally run? 15. Ooh, maybe we can wait for it. Maybe we can wait for it. Smurfd's like, there's an impressive amount of pip bug reports this early. A lot of those reports are from me, like just me filing bugs as I find issues. And other people have been filing bugs though, which is nice. And I expect a lot of new bugs to be filed, both from QA who have begun testing this week, as well as from our nightly population as soon as we turn this thing on. I'm expecting just an avalanche of bugs. And then it's a matter of like prioritizing and fixing and writing tests. But I have to get those tests working in automation. Ugh. I'm really upset whenever tests don't pass in automation. So hopefully this passes soon, and I'll get at least a clue as to why this isn't passing in automation just yet. Let me see if there's anything of note going on elsewhere. So I might have to do some like fabricator gymnastics in order to rewire a lot of these commits, because they are. Is there a test for small video on top of a larger video? Is this even possible? I think it is with position absolute. Yeah, you can position a video on top of another video. And is there a test for that? No, I haven't written one yet. We could quickly test to see what it's like just manually. Maybe that's a fun thing to do before we call it. So let's use JSBin. We're gonna put 2 videos in here. And we're gonna say no controls. No controls. Is that how it works? Oh. Width equals 300. All right, so we've got one video here. Let's put in another video. Width equals 400. We're gonna call this one video 1. Call this one video 2. And for video 1, we're going to give it a red border. And video 2 is going to get a blue border. Where's video 2? There we go. I forgot. That's how you have to do it. Okay. Now if I do video 2 position absolute. No, actually I'm going to put the red one over the blue one. Position absolute. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, it doesn't work. We don't get the toggle working properly. I get the hover, but I don't get the click. I'm gonna mute these. Jeez. Pause. I get the correct like toggle states, but like the actual click events aren't working. Blue border. Blue border. What about blue border? Right. I know it's not the one. Oh yeah, I know I'm in the nightly browser, but that's okay because like the new toggle is in nightly right now. It's just disabled, so it's okay. Ocris is referring to the fact that I'm using my nightly instance of the browser. But why isn't that click working? That's an interesting question for me, anyways. Worth filing a bug about. I will make note of that. Let's do that right now. Although I think I can already tell this is very much an edge case. Overlapped videos can't get picture-in-picture opened on them. Ensure that picture-in-picture is enabled, set. Wait, and then an attachment. Overlapping video. Where are the prefs? Enabled and visit the test case in this bug. Hover either video. Note that the toggle appears and becomes fully opaque when the toggle is hovered. Toggles are hovered. The toggles should cause us to enter picture-in-picture. When clicked, nothing occurs on click. And so I'm going to make this user milestone 3 for now. And test case. And it's of type HTML. And I can already tell right now this is a P3 or maybe even a P5. File it nonetheless. Man, that should have been an HTML doc. Bugzilla swallowed the doc. MIME type. Oh shoot! Hang on, I gotta update the CSS as well. Man. Obsolete. Attach file. And then we'll put this stuff in here. And now there we go. Oh, and it works here. Oh, interesting. Maybe it didn't work because it was JS bin. So save a snapshot. works here too. It's in the editor that appears to be broken. So I'm gonna back up a bit. Overlapping videos inside. Overlapping videos in JSBin editor. So let me make this obsolete now. And then we will link to the URL of the editor. Okay. With that done, let's go back here. We have our failing test verify. Great. The timeout that I wanted to see. Let's see what the log says. We start the test. We see an intersection. Checking intersection entries. Looking at video. Video full opacity over toggle. Video is worth tracking. Adding video. And then it's just like it never gets it. Oh, because video, it's testing video with ID video full opacity. Let's look at one where it works. Checking intersection, laying video with ID video full opacity. Waiting for videos to be ready. It's like the videos are ready to start. And it doesn't add this video back then. It does here. The review. So we only get the one video. We're not getting both videos as marked as intersecting. Toggle opaque overlay. For some reason, they're not being marked as intersecting. Why would that be? I might have to force their registration just to get these things landed. We'll see, but I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching episode 174 of The Joy of Coding. Hey, we made it, and we wrote some stuff, and hopefully it was interesting. Thank you so much for watching. If this was interesting to you, let me know. Go to the agenda here, and you can find yourself a link to the rate this episode link to the forum. There's a fun little photo at the end of each of those forums, for most of them, in case you want a reward for filling in the form. So go check it out. And with that, I'm going to call it. So thank you again so much for watching episode 174, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Hold on, let me cue up the music. Wait for it. Take care. Bye-bye. See ya.